Saharanpur, representatives from the clashing groups and local authorities were called for a peace meeting today, where curfew was imposed for a second day. Though the day after 3 people were killed and 20 injured in violent clashes between two groups, disagreements over who owns the land still remain. The clashes broke out over construction on a disputed piece of land. Uttar Pradesh's top policemen and 600 paramilitary personnel have been deployed in the area. Meanwhile, aerial surveillance of large areas of Saharanpur with unmanned aerial vehicles is being done by the state administration to keep a close watch on the situation.
It was obviously pre-planned, and it was done in order to create loot, as also in order to create some sort of communal polarization in view of the upcoming by-election for the Saharanpur Assembly seat. There is Mr. Imran Masood and Muharram Ali Pappu of the Congress party. These people were the people who collected the crowds and then instigated them.
Tonima Biswas now joins us from Saharanpur live. Tonima, a case has been registered now?
That's right, a case of arson, rioting and homicide has in fact been registered, Amitabh. And this is police are of course telling us that 9 FIRs in total have been registered, not only on the basis of this particular incident which had taken place because of the disputed land, but also other cases of arson and stone pelting which have been reported over the past 24 hours in several parts of the city. We can bring you shots over here, of course, of senior police officials who have reached this area. We are standing very close to the disputed land, and this central point, of course, divides the residential areas where the sections of both the communities live. So the police are, of course, taking stock of the situation here on ground. But what we can tell you is that they have named somebody, Muharram Ali Pappu, who has Congress links. Apparently, he is a close aide of Imran Masood. He has been named in the FIR. We are still trying to find out the exact sections which he has been charged with. But of course, this is the main case of the clash which took place early on Saturday morning between both the communities, between the Sikh and the Muslims over here. Mr. Pappu, of course, is also the main petitioner who had gone to the High Court, the Allahabad High Court, against the order of the lower court, which had ruled in favor of the Sikh group as far as ownership of this land was concerned. But he, of course, we went and met him. He, of course, denies any sort of involvement and says that it was the failure of the local police to not have come over there on time when objections had been raised about construction which had actually taken place on Friday night. And also, of course, there is a lot of talk about whether or not this is related to the by-elections. Both groups, of course, suggesting that there seems to be some sort of political conspiracy or conspiracy by people who have close political links. But that the local intelligence unit is telling us that they have not really got any sort of proper evidence as to whether or not this was a very highly pre-planned conspiracy or not. But the blame game, of course, continues. We also heard from the local MP from the area who is from BJP, who, of course, also maintains that this has all been triggered off the tension in Western Uttar Pradesh, both in Moradabad as well as over here, that we saw because of the by-elections which are supposed to be held in both areas in the next few months. So whether or not this actually has a political angle, that is, of course, up to the investigators on the ground to look at. But what they are telling us at the moment is that they want to restore normalcy and peace in this region as soon as possible. Though there have not been any incidents of major violence reported over the past 24 hours, but curfew has not been relaxed yet today, even after the peace committee meeting in which all stakeholders had been called to voice their views. So tomorrow it will, of course, remain to be seen whether or not any portion of the day curfew is relaxed, because day after tomorrow is Eid, and what local administration was telling us that they hope that normalcy does return to Saharanpur before Tuesday. Amitabh.